conditions, we would have probably every single person there on this side of the podium, but for two reasons. One, if we brought you all up here, we wouldn't have anybody to speak to. And second, due to social distancing, I think we're gonna just ask everybody to stay where they are. We'll have a couple of just brief comments that we're gonna make, and for the ribbon cutting, we'll invite everybody up for a group photo and some individual photos, if that's okay. So thank you everyone for attending today. Welcome to the official opening of our first permanent advanced oxidation treatment facility here at the Plainview Water District. This is truly a state-of-the-art facility, and once we get through a couple of comments and the ceremonial stuff, if you want to stick around, we're going to take you through the plant and let everybody see what we have going on behind it. So my name is Mark Lakine. Currently I serve as the chairman of the Board of Commissioners of the Plainview Water District. I'm joined by my colleagues Andrew Beda and co-chair Amanda Field to my left. With us is Superintendent Stephen Moriarty and our business manager, who I'll introduce as well, Dina Scott. This is a tremendous milestone for us. You know, those of you that are here that are in the water industry, you know how difficult getting something like this off the ground is, and completion is just a tremendous group effort. And it just goes without saying, you know, the tremendous staff we have here at the Plainview Water District. But before I move on, I do want to acknowledge some of the invited guests that are here today. I'll do my best, and if I forget anybody, I apologize, and my colleagues will jump right in and help me out, I'm sure. So my first guest that I'd like to acknowledge is Arnie Drucker. And Arnie is in particular a guest. Aside from being a friend, he's probably the only one here I could say that was drinking this water since birth. Is that fairly true, Arnie? Okay, so.
And now we understand. Right?
I'm a little off, but it's okay.
Well, Rose, you're drinking Hicksville, so what's your
Yeah,
excuse?
you understand why I'm like I am.
Also with us is legislator Rose Walker, welcome. Legislator Laura Schaefer, welcome as well. From the town of Oyster Bay, Councilman Louis Umbrodo.
I grew up on this water too.
You did, Lou. You did. And I just, you know, Arnie gets the distinction of a lifelong drinker. I believe you're drinking.
Who hasn't grown up yet?
Just drinking. Almost as good. From the office of Chuck Levine, Jared's here on his behalf.
Yeah, there he is.
And Mike Flaherty's here from the office of the County Executive, Laura Kern. Also want to acknowledge our neighbors from Beth Page. Superintendent Mike Rufus is here, along with commissioners, former commissioners, Scott Sal Greco, and Mr. Kamaris, John Kamaris as well. So I apologize if I left anyone else out, but thank you all for attending this important event. I touched base real quick on our superintendent and business manager that are present. Dina Scott literally handled all the finances, everything that went into making this happen, from the grant applications to the final payment, final checks that went out on this thing, and she did a tremendous job. This couldn't have been done without her. And to my left, Superintendent Stephen Moriarty oversaw the entire project from its inception, and did a wonderful job through the ups and downs. Mike Rufus is shaking his head. He knows what he had to go through to get this done. Mike's done it a few times himself. So a tremendous thanks goes out to them. And I'd be remiss if I didn't mention my entire staff, or our entire staff, but I do want to mention our two senior plant operators, Al Becerra and our foreman and senior plant operator Keith Fleming, who have about 70 plus years combined experience working right here at the Plainview Water District and nowhere else. They were an integral part of this happening. So I'm going to try and keep it real quick, but I just think it's in order to just give you a quick brief history as to why this building is here and why it was constructed. There are a couple of reasons, one of which is the vessels that are behind me used to be right behind you in an outdoor capacity. Right now they're indoors and we get seasonal use out of it. Is that Sujata? Oh, our consulting engineer, Sujata Pal. I have to mention her because she was the front person for the H2M Engineering, the consulting firm that made this happen, and she was tasked with tremendous responsibility and came through with flying colors. So thank you, Sujata. So back to the plant. It caused us gave us the ability to run this plant 12 months a year, where we couldn't run it in the winter on the outside. That was one of the reasons. We also doubled the capacity of the carbon vessels, which are behind me, which allows us to pump close to 4 million gallons of water a day. The second and more pressing reason, as most of you know from reading the newspapers, 1,4-dioxane, big in the news, and we were tasked with the unfortunate problem of having it detect in most of our wells. And the advanced oxidation portion, which we'll show you downstairs, it takes care of that. It destroys the 1,4-dioxane molecules, and that combined with the GAC gives us the high quality water that we're providing to our residents. August 2020 was when the regulation basically came down, and we had this plant running in November of 2020. Pretty good. We did that in like 4 months, right? No, that wasn't the case. We actually had the foresight, I should say, on our staff and co-commissioners as a group, had the foresight to realize that this was coming way back in 2018, 2019. We started the planning knowing that this day would come when these regulations would hit. And due to the planning and due to the advanced planning, I should say, we had this thing underway and we were good to go in time for the maximum contaminant level being put in place by New York State. So, with that said, up and running, we have a state-of-the-art facility, which I'm proud to have been a part of. It's up and running. Like I said, 4 million gallons of water, dioxane-free, free of PFOS, PFOA, well ahead of the date of the regulation from New York State. So I'm very proud of this accomplishment. This is a great day for the Plainview Water District and a great day for the residents of Plainview. I was talking to a couple of folks out here that are residents as well, and they've been drinking the water also, and I indicated to them, this is for you. This is not for us, this is for you, the residents of Plainview. With that said, I'd like to introduce Commissioner Amanda Field, who wants to say a few words as well.
Thank you. Thank you, Chairman Lakehigh. So I'm Commissioner Amanda Field. I've been Commissioner here since January of 2017, and I'd like to take a moment to speak about the history of this project and how it came about. Plainview Water District has set a precedent of being extremely proactive in putting treatment in place for emerging compounds in order to be the most protective of public health, which is often beyond what is required by regulators. From the very beginning, we sought to find the foremost experts in the industry, seeking out top, most cost-effective treatment. In order to put treatment in place as soon as possible, our district passed emergency resolutions and began planning right away, many years ago. Our Board of Commissioners, staff, and engineers, as Mark mentioned, have been heavily involved throughout the entire development of this project. The process that brought us to where we are here today was extremely involved. Research was conducted over several years, proposals were drafted, and pilot studies were needed to be conducted at each plant site for this new treatment. Because water quality is different at each individual well, it's not just a design and go and then you kind of repeat and build it at every plant site. It's really each individual plant site needs a different design. The water needs to be tested. It needs to be approved by the Department of Health once everything's designed and constructed. So, it's a very complicated process at each well site. We met with and sought out vendors from around the world, looking at different systems, analysis, size of structures, operation and management costs, and many other factors. Plainview Water District was not just involved on a local level. Several trips were made to Albany and meetings were set with State Assembly and Senate, state and local health departments, the EFC, the DEC, repeatedly asking for additional grant funding to offset the cost to help fund treatment. We asked and we received. The district was able to receive a $2.1 million grant for this plant alone in order to offset the cost of treatment and any impact to rates on residents. Overall, we've received almost $9 million in grant funding for emerging contaminant treatment to date. And as we mentioned, our business manager was very involved in helping get that grant funding. It's not something that's done easily. And initially there was a $3 million cap per district, and we asked to raise that cap because every, district has different needs. So we were really proud that we were able to get that done. The Plainview Water District has emerged as a leader in water treatment and has successfully put more advanced oxidation process, or AOP as we know we refer to it as, and those systems in place than any other water supplier on Long Island, and we're really proud of that. The ability to work together with my team here, industry professionals, some who are here today and we thank them, elected officials, regulators, and our community has proven to make this an unforgettable experience that has given us an extreme sense of pride and accomplishment. And I want to truly thank everyone who's been involved in this process. We really thank everyone. And I thank everyone for being here today for this monumental event. Thank you so much. And I'd like to introduce Commissioner Bader. Thank you.
Okay. I'm Andy Bader. I'm one of the commissioners here. I've been serving here since 2010. I'm also very proud to be the chairman of Long Island Water Conference for this year. I would like to thank all of you for being here to mark this milestone event here at the Plainview Water District. First and foremost, I'd like to recognize and thank our very dedicated staff at the Plainview Water District for all their hard work and professionalism in helping this project become a reality. I must also recognize the skill and talent of H2M Engineering and Architecture and the many contractors and tradespeople who ensured that this project would be completed despite the challenges of working during the COVID-19 pandemic, which this project came in on time, and really, it was not an easy time to work, but it was done correctly and it was done fast. The Plainview Water District is committed to providing our residents with the highest quality water and will always make whatever investments are necessary to ensure this will always be the case. We're currently working on a number of projects which we will bring to fruition and which will make improvements to our district very soon. Again, I'd like to thank everybody for attending our celebration today, and we'll be assembling for some photographs to mark this momentous occasion. We will also have a tour of the facility led by our Superintendent, Steve Moriarty. So we're going to set up our ribbon and we'll do the ribbon cutting. Thank you for all being here.
Thank you, Commissioner Bader, and thank you for your work for the Long Island Water Conference. I also want to acknowledge Commissioner Field and thank her for her work that she's doing for the Nassau Suffolk Water Commissioners Association, where she is serving as our president. So, with that said, Mr. Drucker, do you want to have something that you
You want to speak?
Sure. If you want to present? Sure. Always up for awards.
Thank you very much, Mark, Amanda, Andy, Steve Moriarty, where'd you go?
Getting ready for the talk.
Dina. This is really a great staff, a great institution in Plainview that I've become familiar with since I was. But really, there's nothing more important than our safe drinking water. I mean, our air and our safe drinking water. That's it. And Plainview has always had terrific water. As we said, as a kid, drinking out of a hose, we never thought anything of it. I don't think my mother would have died to have to buy bottled water. That never would have happened. Who bought bottled water then? No one. So, but what's most impressive about the Plainview Water District is that they are always ahead of the curve. They're always ahead of the game when it comes to projecting and anticipating what's coming down the road. I remember speaking to all of these guys a couple years ago, and when I was becoming educated about these emergent contaminants and these volatile organic compounds that were affecting all of us. I mean, what we've done to our environment is sad. We've damaged our waterways, our groundwater, our air, everything we've done, and now we have to spend billions of dollars just to clean it up. But Plainview Water District and some of the surrounding ones, Hicksville and Bethpage, they're doing tremendous work in the same regard to ensure that we have safe, healthy drinking water. And I'm proud of that. I'm proud of this district. Thank you all for tremendous work that you've done. I'm excited to see this new anti-oxidation plant. It's really great. So, and you know what? To show you about how healthy, safe drinking water, it's not a political thing. We have Laura Schaefer and Rose Walker here because they share in the concern that we all have to having safe drinking water all over Long Island. So I'm proud to be here. I'm proud to live in Plainview. And on behalf of the Nassau County Legislature, I'd like to present this citation to you guys. And get a photo up. First we get one, and then we'll get the Rose and Laura up here.
No mask.
You wanna put your mask back
No
on?
mask.
Yes.
Just because somebody will say something.
You're right. You're right.
Oh, I was
have one
doing
over
the
there.
opposite. I was saying taking them off.
You're right. Thank you, Rose.
So do another one with you and then we'll jump in. Social media is wonderful, but if we're in there without.
Yep, nope, you're
Exactly.
100% right.
And you really do have to think about that.
And Lou, I'm sorry. Lou and Brodo too. I'm sorry. Lou and Brodo. A Plainview resident as well.
Yep, you go first.
Nobody breathes.